There is no money left. Is it game over? Or is there another solution? We're going to find out.
I ain't gonna give in now. I just gotta live this now. I'm gonna be when I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the wheel. Cause I am just up on the journey. You just know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand Rising Warriors. Oh my goodness. Is there no money left? Is it only credit in the system? Are we so leveraged that this casino can't keep going? We're going to find out today. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind will become an unconscious activity. And excuse the background, I'm traveling around right now. Freedom is my MO. That's what we do. We are a freedom company. We teach people how to gain freedom here, and understand that there is no battle against anybody else. It's a battle for human consciousness. We'd love to have you part of our Warrior Academy. I have decided within the next 6 months, I'm going to go completely private with my Warrior Academy. So if you want to get in and get grandfathered into our Warrior Academy, now is the time. Do not miss this opportunity to get in. We used to do an interview process only to get into our Warrior Academy. We kind of went away from that. We're going back to that within the next 6 months. So this is your opportunity, www.3twarrioracademy.com. All right, so we're going to dive right into it. So I'll be jumping around here. I'm going to switch it up on my screen, and we're going to dive right into the news, okay? So U.S. debt, we talked about this yesterday, eclipsed 31 trillion for the first time. U.S. national debt eclipsed 31 trillion. So I really want to keep honing in on this because I know we're talking about cryptocurrency and everybody's wanting to get rich in crypto. This is the greatest opportunity. I'm telling you, a massive collapse is coming. That is in the books. It's coming. 7-year cycle with the Shemitah. A collapse usually happens in October. It usually happens 1 year from a presidential election. And there's so many things happening right now, okay? So the national debt eclipsed 31 trillion. Now remember, last 24 months, they printed more money than in history. So it's like they purposely just turn the printing machine on full blast, pack their bags, and they're about to pull the plug. Okay. Now this is pretty wild. This came out at the same time. World currency reserves shrinks by 1 trillion in record drawdown. So we're having record national and global debt. And now our currency reserves, that's the reserves. Okay. There is no money left. They're tapping in to reserves, just like Americans are tapping into their credit cards. They're tapping into their savings, and they're saying the average person that makes about $250,000 a year is now starting to live paycheck to paycheck. Think about it. With interest rates almost doubling, the price of a mortgage has skyrocketed from about $2,500 a month to $4,000 a month. Rent prices have gone up 20% to 30% in some areas. So world currencies reserves shrink by 1 trillion in a record drawdown. The central banks dip into the reserves to defend their currencies. Investors calls falling reserves the canary in the coal mine. God, this is wild, Warriors. This is so wild. We've been predicting this for 3 years. Global foreign currency reserves are falling at the fastest pace on record as central banks from India, Czech Republic intervene to support their currencies. Reserves had declined by 1 trillion or 7.8%. That is remarkable numbers. This year to 12 trillion, the biggest drop since Bloomberg started to compile the information in 2003. Okay. I want to show you this drop. Check this out. So back in 2008, you remember the housing crisis? So we had that. That was in 2008. That's when Lehman Brothers collapsed. And right now we have Credit Suisse that's on the verge of collapse. It's like these black swans happen. So we had the pound collapse 2 Mondays ago. I think it was 2 Mondays ago. We had the Bank of England go into crisis mode on last Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays ago, excuse me. And it's almost like the exact same lockstep. Now we have Credit Suisse that's on the verge of collapse, and the CEO and CFO are like, no, everything's good to go. And then 3 days later, just like Lehman Brothers said that they collapsed. We had a little bit of a blip here. This is a 2015. They had a little bit of a crash. And look at 2022. dipping into those reserves when the world debt is at a record high. Well, let's take a deep dive in America here. I love this US debt calculator. You can look this up at usdebtclock.org. Okay, look at this. In the 1960s, we're at 52% debt to income ratio. So what this is how much debt's in the system versus how much GDP we have. So if we sold all the gross domestic products, all the products and services in America, could we pay off our debt? It's the balance of that, right? Look where we're at right now. We're at 125% debt to income ratio. Now, check this out. This is my favorite part to do. We can go into a time machine, okay? And let's move it to 2026, okay? Now, look at the debt, 125%. So we're backwards. We have no money in the system. We're over leveraged, debt versus income, basically, or gross domestic product, okay? 2026, if we go into a time machine, we'd be at 167% if the rates stayed the same. So if we stayed at the current rates we're at now, by 2026, we'd be at 167%. This is a freight train. It can't be stopped, okay? So this is really interesting. At the same time, Fidelity unveils new Ethereum index fund on October 5th, 2022. Fidelity says, boom, we've been in it. They are a juggernaut in the system. Never mind the crypto bear market. Fidelity Investments is launching Fidelity Ethereum Index Fund, according to an October 4th filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The fund currently has $5 million in assets. We have continued to see client demand for exposure to digital assets beyond Bitcoin. And Fidelity spokesperson said in an email statement to Barron's advisor, the fund is part of Fidelity's digital asset division, which is formed in 2018. I've been telling you guys, Wells was up and running on 2017. They're 2018. Bank of America with Ripple in 2017. All these banks, Wells Fargo's with R3. All these banks, all these institutions, as they told you cryptocurrency is a fraud, they were set up their trading desks. They were setting up, their custody at least. And once we get regulation, they're going to be hammering into the trading desk, okay? Here's the SEC form. If you want to see it for yourself, you can dive into this stuff. Boring information. You can see it right here. Fidelity Ethereum Index Fund. So cryptocurrency is a fraud, right? So your parents who are telling crypto's a fraud, your cousin, your Uncle Bob that's having a beer at your, at your graduation party or whatever it is, or at the birthday party is telling you cryptocurrency is a fraud. Well, I guess all these large companies don't see it as a fraud. So now what is the issue right now? We have a massive, massive, massive liquidity issue. Everybody's leveraged. Countries are leveraged. Banks are leveraged and people are leveraged. Leverage means we have too much debt and not enough cash. We're one hiccup away from everything collapsing. So the economy is one hiccup away from collapsing. So what do we need? We need immediately liquidity. And that's exactly what companies like Ripple and the XRP ledger do. They bridge digital assets seamlessly, providing liquidity. They're optimizing crypto liquidity. So it optimizes money moving at the speed of light. Expanded access to capital. Everybody needs access to capital. That's why these companies are going to start to collapse. Extensive global payouts to connect to global networks, last mile payment rails, and streamline digital asset management. Okay. How Ripple Liquidity Hub works. Liquidity Hub is a turnkey liquidity and global payout platform built specifically for enterprise needs. It wasn't for us, it's for enterprise. It supports a variety of digital assets and connects organizations to a rich set of liquidity venues to source and optimize pricing via smart order algorithm. It basically eliminates a third party. Boom. That's why the central banks now have a master account that these crypto exchanges need to run through. Okay. That's why they're going to have the Fed now services. They're going to catch it on the back end here. Everything's going to be connected. Trust me, they're not going to be left out of the system. Okay. And I brought on Jimmy Valhil, which was really an important interview. I highly recommend you go type in the search on my YouTube channel and check it out. What he sent to the Federal Reserve, which we showed you the document, to all the Federal Reserves, the Fed of Dallas, he sent them to all of it, basically saying, hey, listen, XRP has the ability to fix this liquidity problem. We know that. It can run all the money through the system. That's how much liquidity it has. Well, this is a document too, and I will actually attach this down in the description. So join the Warrior Academy, download this video. Actually, the video will be on there, but I'm telling you, get in the Warrior Academy. You are going to miss out. Okay, on page 2 of the document that I will attach in this video, okay, read this. As the legacy global payment system, legacy, old system, I've been telling you that. It's failing right now. There's a need to assist, advise poor yet resource wealthy nations, so both nations, emerging nations, in their transactions into the new digital economy. Listen to what I'm saying. They need to transition to the new digital economy. This is not Will they? They have to. The process of valuing the vast natural resources and precious minerals, gold, diamonds, cobalt, oil, gas, cocoa, etc., the resources, commodity, assets, in place within these emerging nations, and using the value of such resources, commodity, assets to collateralize newly issued resource, commodity, asset-backed currencies issued by and for the benefit of the collective sovereign of the people, and such emerging nations will result in real dramatic and positive involvement in the realize of wealth of the people. Two transformative circumstances that only recently became available are apparent, respectively, are the on-demand liquidity hub product offered by Ripple Labs, Ripple, providing on-demand liquidity. Everybody needs liquidity on demand right now, or everything's going to collapse. To otherwise, liquid currency of digital asset market pairing using the digital virtual currency known as XRP, and the occurrence of the geopolitical events resulting in the BRICS nation, which collectively represent over 1/4 of the world's land of 40% of the global population, and others opting out of using the US dollar for cross-border commodity transactions, desiring instead the implement of assets-backed currencies system. Russia referred to hereon as the accelerated digital adopting nations. America is pissing everybody off, Warriors. As we continue to skyrocket interest rates, that doesn't help us in America. Our dollar is getting stronger, but that doesn't help you unless you're buying foreign goods, or you're a company importing foreign goods, or you're traveling overseas and you can buy stuff really cheap. It doesn't do anything for the American people. It crushes the American people, and it crushes a normal everyday human in other countries. Okay, so we hear this. We need liquidity, but we're going to play this again. I'm going to play this video for you guys once again. This is what they are saying. This is what the government is saying. They're like saying, you have to get into this. It is imperative that you do it now.
Stakeholder engagement to ensure readiness for adoption through efforts like the pilot program, the FedNow Explorer resource, the FedNow community, the service provider showcase, and the FedNow early adopter workshop. To advance our goal of nationwide reach for instant payments, we are working closely with the private sector RTP instant payment service on message specifications to ensure alignment and support of routing interoperability. Just as the Federal Reserve has made a substantial commitment to our new instant payments infrastructure, we're calling on industry stakeholders to do the same. The shift to real-time payments infrastructure requires a focused effort, but the shift is inevitable. The time is now for all key stakeholders, financial institutions, core service providers, software companies, and app developers to devote the necessary resources to support instant payments. That means upgrading back office processes, evaluating accounting procedures for a 7 business day week.
Boom. Welcome to the new financial system. Real-time payments, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real-time payments. This is where we're at, Warriors. You made it. Congratulations. You are a true warrior. You are now invested in the new world, the new economy. The old paradigm of finances, you got to stop taking advice from people who are stuck in the old paradigm, Warriors. The pension is gone. It's gone in the future. No more. The old 401k model is going to be tokenized. It's going to be a whole different form of 401k, or how they develop that, or an investment structure or investment model. The way that you do in your investing, the companies that you're invested in, some of them may not even be here anymore. On-demand liquidity, real-time payment. She said it is imperative. They have to. It's not a choice. And if you don't get into zero carbon and move into ODL, on-demand liquidity, real-time payments, guess what? You're not getting your funding. You're not getting your funding. You're not going to be able to grow your company. You're not going to get what you need to survive. So the time is now, Warriors. As I've always said, before Rosie Rio said this, I said the freight train has left the building. You're going to go on board and go for the ride of your life, or get ran over by it. But the fact is, every single human being has to get on the train. Warriors, get your shit together. Let's go. Love you guys.